Alright, so it looks like we got up now. I'm just adjusting the settings. Alright. Hey, alright, so welcome to the Creatorcast. One sec. Well, so things are going the way they're going. Welcome.
Hello.
So, I can't currently be seen, but I'm kind of cool with that at the moment. Let me just do that. So yeah, thank you for coming on. First episode, never done this before, so I'm really freaked out, so hey. So, I just started this, so sorry if I'm a little odd. But, so, you are a very prominent Spider-Man cosplayer, and
Yeah.
you have kind of really gained a following with you selling face shells, right?
I would love to think that it's from the facials. I would love that the reason I have followers is from facials, but it's not. It's mainly just like reels and stuff. That's how you gain followers.
Really? I actually wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought, because I've seen the quality of face shells, and especially you started a deal a little bit ago where I'm not sure if that's over now. I think it is. Where you're making them and sending them out.
Yeah. I've done that for like a year. I think once I'm done, I'll be done in like October, but I would have made like 150 of them, which is like crazy for one person. But
yeah, that's insane. It's really interesting because like I've seen the quality and I've seen people's reels of the face shells that they ordered. They're crazy. Like, it's insane to see how much time and effort you put into them, and your price is totally worth it.
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of time, and there's a lot of redoing things, and that's why I'm so behind right now, because it's like I want to make sure everything's perfect, but it's like on the other hand, you can't take forever because people need their stuff, so
yeah,
it goes back and forth. Usually people aren't mad because they're satisfied with it once they get it anyway.
Yeah, you're ordering something crazy high quality, and like if it takes a little bit of time, suck it up.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, without saying it.
Yeah, sorry to ruin your thing on my reviewer podcast.
Fine, you're good. No, you're good. Sensational Spidey exposed.
Yeah. So, for one, again, thank you for coming on. It's really great. I've been like watching your Instagram for a while now, not in a creepy way, but because it's just
either way, whatever.
Yeah. It's really cool because you put so much care and effort into your suits, and even into your face shells. I'm going like off script here, so I'm just talking.
No, you're good. You're good.
But like, for your Spidey suit, you have the belt part in the front with the magnets, right?
What are you talking about? Like the 7-piece? Like how it comes apart and stuff?
Yeah, sorry. And then doesn't it hold together with magnets at the bottom?
No, there's like clips. It's like a clip and a snap. Magnets are mainly for like lenses and stuff.
Okay, that actually makes a lot more sense. But either way, still, the fact that you would even consider putting that in is just incredible. Because there are some content creators I've looked at that do a very similar thing and don't even take that into consideration. So
yeah, it's definitely lots of experimentation. I mean, when I have free time, I can make some amazing stuff. Like I have my web wings right here. Like that's crazy, But it's like this took me like a day, But most of the time, I don't have free time to do that. Like, you see my mask back there. It's just stuff like that.
That your suit always reminds me of the Spectacular Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
How did you design your suit? Like, is it fully custom, or did you just kind of go with what works?
Everything is from scratch. I mean, I took inspirations from different people, like Ultimate Spider-Man comics for the lenses. For the most part, I edited things because I didn't want it to be like exactly the same.
Yeah. Ultimate Spider-Man, the comic or the show?
The comics.
Okay.
There's the Chaeyoung Spider-Man artist. I think it's Jim Chaeyoung. For the front spider, because his front spiders are really cool.
Yeah.
It's like segmented. Back spider's all me. Webbing's all me. Obviously, I've taken reference from things because you want things to look right, but it's all done in like 3D. So it's like a cloth simulation for the base pattern. And then all the webs and everything are sketched out in 3D. And then I go into Photoshop and I go back and I clean it up and then I put it back into 3D to check if like all the webs line up. And if they do, great. If they don't, back to the drawing board and fix things. And ideally, once you make it, it should look the same. The mask wasn't like that. There was like warping in the 3D model. So I had to go back recently and fix all the warping. It took like 2 weeks. And then redraw all the webbing. And then print the pattern. And then I puff paint all of it by hand, of course.
Wow.
And then, yeah, that's kind of how that works.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. It's a very long process, but that's how like the pros do it. So that's how I want to do it.
I mean, hey, by this point, you are one of the pros.
I don't know. I think I'm just a guy that likes to make stuff. I don't really consider myself. I mean, I guess I'm a professional because I get paid to do it, but you know.
Okay, I feel like when you're to the point that you have a secured fan base that loves watching what you do.
Yeah.
And it's more than like 200 people, I would say you're kind of a pro in that regard. Especially when you're spending so much time developing the suits like that.
Yeah.
So this is more just a personal question of mine. I haven't had this written down.
You're good. No, it's fine. I just skimmed through it. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay, cool. I feel like I'm gonna end up asking like 2 of those questions and then just talking the whole time.
No, yeah, that's fine.
So I was looking through your reels on Instagram the other day, which I think there's like 3, or your TikTok, I don't know.
Yeah.
You showed off the web shooters you made. Inside were some electronics. What do your web shooters do?
My web shooters right now are broken. I dropped them, but they don't do a whole lot. They just have like a cartridge in them. So like they pop open, they have a cartridge that's like magnetic and I shut it and then it makes sounds. That's kind of what my shooters do right now. But I'm working on functional shooters with people. And his Instagram's The Amazing if people want to look at that.
Alrighty.
But they're going to shoot. There's going to be like a string that comes out and it'll be like either magnetic or there'll be like a little hook or something on it. And it'll be fishing line, so it'll be able to hold some weight, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to also have like a few other features that we're working on in them, so they'll be like really sick. And they'll reel back in as well. Like it'll shoot, it'll reel, and then it'll be ready to shoot again. So it'll be like legit. But it's taking a while because it's a long process.
Yeah, I completely understand. It's like you are fully crafting something.
Yeah.
Have you happened to check out J Laser videos on YouTube?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that's reminding me a lot of his kind of web shooters that he's making and selling. Do you have any plans to, like, if you get it working, sell yours?
I don't mean to be a hater, but his shooters, he is not making them. They're being drop shipped from like AliExpress or something.
No, you're totally right. But
I literally have had a pair like that, and they're okay. They jam quite a bit. I'm not going to sell them because I'm not the one making them. I am collabing with The Amazing, and he's making them for me. I mean, I'm going to design like the outer case for it, so like looks cool. But he's doing like all the he's going for a PhD in mechanical engineering. So like he is legit. So very smart guy. Very
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And also, I completely get Jake Laser isn't making them, but
yeah.
I love that idea because for a lot of people, Spider-Man could be real, but then you start thinking about how does he stick to walls? How does he shoot his webs?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the biggest nerds are the ones who figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
Which is a total compliment, by the way.
No, yeah, thank you. For me, it's more like this. Yeah, you could stick to walls, you could swing, but for me, it's more the personality. It's like, who do you think Spider-Man is, and how can you portray that? It's like not just when you're wearing your suit, but in your everyday life. Like, I try to help everyone out when I can. I try to teach people things. I try to lift people up and do little things like this for people. It's like, that's what Spider-Man is to me. You can stick to walls, you can swing, you can have quips, whatever. But if you're an asshole, it doesn't really matter. So the suit doesn't mean anything. Anyone can wear the suit. It's not about the suit. It's about the everyday being nice, even when the people aren't watching, you know?
It's the with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay, I completely get that. I have there's a certain content creator I've watched, and actually how we got into cosplay, that he's like, oh, I'm just like Spider-Man, but he's kind of a dude.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of just like, are you? I'm not gonna like name him because that would be.
Well,
I want to have him on here at some point. So.
Yeah.
But okay. I am ready to ask my first question that's on the list.
All right.
Okay, so I've mentioned there were a lot of people I watched to get into cosplay. Were there any content creators for you that kind of made you want to get into this world of cosplaying, or specifically cosplaying Spidey?
Okay, for me, it wasn't a whole lot of content creators, because I started back in like 2016 or 2017. It wasn't super popular.
Yeah.
Mainly where I saw my like main sources of inspiration were like on forums like the RPF. It's like there's lots of content where you can learn there, and like Instagram too, but you know, I first had to make a profile, like a cosplay profile, to get into that. Most of the things that I like pulled me into it though was through the RPF, because that was like people making their own suits and all that stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And when I started, my main thing was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy suits now, but eventually I want to say that I did everything that I make myself, whether it be out of spite or, you know, just gratification that I can do it.
That's totally fair. It's when you actually make something completely on your own, it changes how you look at everything. Like this Mandalorian helmet, I made and I made with Bluetooth headphones inside.
Yeah.
And making that gave me a whole new appreciation for like the stuff people do make, but also kind of like seeing the cop-outs some places make.
Yeah, because at first, when I started 3D printing, I started with other people's files, and it's great, it's okay. But there was always issues I would have, like they would be too thin, or the magnet sizes would be weird, or anything. So I was like, well, I need to learn to 3D model to make my life easier and cut that cost out of production. So that's what I did. And then it went to sewing, because I wanted like better masks and stuff. And then I just made a whole suit. It's like, people think it's difficult, but you just really just got to start and keep failing over and over again, and eventually you'll just get there.
That's totally fair. So I started with a very similar thing, except I didn't have the motivation to keep going.
Yeah.
So the person I originally started watching was what I would say more toxic side of the community, where he was like, face shells don't do because it's like, I don't know what it was. Like, you don't have the Spider-Man actual human face. I'm like, now watching it, I'm like, okay. But, and it was like, don't order a suit because if you just see someone in a suit, it can be made over and over again.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'm going to make my own suit. So this was my first Spidey mask.
Yeah.
It's not good, but it's a first mask.
Yeah, I mean, it's you always have to be honest with yourself, because that's how you get better. And it's like, yes, you should appreciate what you make, and I'm not saying don't appreciate what you make, but like, I'll make things and I'll be like, this looks like shit, and that's okay, because I'll do better next time. It's not, don't be disappointed and be like, oh, my suit looks like shit, and never try again. It's like, if your suit looks bad, just freaking remake it eventually, or start a different suit. Don't get stuck on the same things over and over again, you know?
And that's why I'm like, I completely understand. I've like with this, I made multiple pieces for the suit, but like looking at the suit now, I hate it. It had like a big spider over the chest, and then it was like red on top, red on the entire legs, and just the arms were blue.
Yeah.
It was not balanced well, but it's still, making it should be the fun part, I feel like.
Yeah, making it and learning the skills is the fun part. If the end result doesn't turn out how you wanted, that's fine. At least you learned something along the way, and you can always put that into your next project.
Exactly. Okay, so my next question. How did you, like, okay, did you start out just doing Spidey, or has it been you've done other stuff and then it's kind of evolved into Spider-Man?
Pretty much Spider-Man from the get-go.
Okay.
I used to buy my suits and stuff, and then I think the main thing was like COVID lockdown for me, because it was like, well, I have all this time, I'm not at school. There was like a good year and a half where I just didn't really have anything to do, and I didn't really have friends at the time either, so I was like, I need to go all in.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I made my own suit like 4 times, and then eventually I got better because I wanted to learn the actual process. I didn't want to just learn how to sew. I wanted to learn how to make my own pattern, because it's like, you know, and it's like a snowball going down a hill. Eventually you just kind of figure out everything.
I love that, because it's sort of the mentality of exactly like you said before, and is kind of just the overall message with Spidey now, is anyone can wear the suit.
Yeah.
So even if you can't sew, learn to sew. Any of that stuff. So I love that. And okay, kind of with that, what is your favorite Spidey suit? Like, overall?
I mean, right now mine. I mean, that's
Well,
why
yeah.
I made. But as far as like cinematic, like movies, I think the TASM 2 suit is like the highest, because it's like it does everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it hits the comic.
Yeah, I think most suits are okay. A lot of suits get a lot of hate. I think all of them are doing what they need to do in their own universe. But as far for me, the top suit for me is definitely the TASM 2 suit.
I get that. I think my favorite is the I know this is totally an original opinion, but the End of No Way Home kind of on his own suit.
Yeah, the red and blue with the shiny blues and stuff, yeah.
I realized that we've only seen Tom Holland's Spider-Man in blue in the first movie in Homecoming. Or Homecoming and Civil War.
Yeah.
Alright. So a big thing with Spidey cosplayers is fitting the right body type. So do you do anything specific to kind of keep a Spidey body?
I would love to say yes, but no. I just have terrible eating habits, honestly. So, as you know, I learn a lot of things in a very quick amount of time, and usually that leads to not sleeping and eating and things like that. Also, I have ADHD, so I get caught up in these things for hours and hours and hours without getting up. So it's like sometimes I just don't eat.
Yeah.
It's unhealthy. I don't recommend it. Don't, just because it works for me, people don't do it. But
I'm the same way.
That's how it is.
I've just gotten to a point with school going on that I'm doing schoolwork and then I'm stressing about schoolwork, so I just don't eat.
Yeah.
But okay, so you're just naturally a Spidey body type.
I mean, I've done physical things. My work's kind of physical, so I'm on my feet all day, so I have okay stamina, and hanging off of things and posing and stuff. That I haven't lost the muscle that I've gained in the past, because I've gone to the gym previously. It's not like I've never gone, but
yeah.
It's usually not very consistent. But soon I'm gonna go back once I catch up with all my orders. It's kind of, I want to get ripped, and then I want to learn how to do flips and stuff, because that's what closes the deal for me.
Yeah, then you are Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, once I can do flips and I'm ripped, who's here to argue?
Do you mind me asking, what do you do outside of Spider-Man?
I would love to say that I do things, but from when I wake up to when I go to sleep, it's pretty much all I do. Even when it's not for other people, like, I don't really do anything else.
You know, that kind of doesn't surprise me, because when I first messaged you for this, you said any time works.
Yeah, I mean, this is my job. I have college, obviously, but not right now. I took a semester off because I have like 50 orders that I need to complete right now, and it's like 50 facials is a lot to do in like a month and a half. So it's like I'm gonna be like on all cylinders or whatever people say. It's gonna be crazy. Like all my printers are running constantly, pretty much.
How many do you have?
I have 5. So I have 3 FDM printers and then I have 2 resin printers. I don't always use both resin printers because one of them's a lot bigger than the other one, even though it's lower resolution technically. It's just a lot easier to set up one resin printer than doing both at the same time.
Yeah. So, okay. I was just actually thinking about this while I was getting my desk all cleaned for this, because it was a mess. What do you make your face shells out of? Like when you're making just the overall face shell?
Like the shell part, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the shells are, they're PETG. They're printed at 250. Most printers can't handle that unless you upgrade to all metal. But the reason it's 250 is because that's when PETG really like bonds with itself. So the layers are a lot more durable, and PETG is more flexible than PLA. So even if your head doesn't fit perfectly, it has a little flex to it. And then the lenses, they are custom mixed resin. So it's like, it's flexible mixed with like regular resin. So it has more impact resistance. Granted, if you drop it from like a good enough height on concrete, it's gonna break. It's resin. Resin always breaks.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they usually do okay. Like I've dropped those lenses a few times and they're fine. Usually the mesh helps as well. But you know, just take care of your stuff. It's an art piece. It's not a toy, so it's like you got to be careful with it.
Were you part? I mean, obviously, because you started in 2016. Do you remember a few months ago there was something going on where there was the guy in a Spider-Man costume and was just getting harassed and like got hit, and I think they broke his nose.
They did.
Yeah. I keep like when I first watched that, I felt horrible. But do you know what my immediate second thought was with that? Could that have been so much worse if he was wearing a face shell?
It would have actually been better.
Better.
I have a friend that has had like lots of brain surgeries and things. I'm not sure exactly what their condition is.
Yeah.
But they were wearing one of my shells, and they got punched in the face by like a drunk person, and the shell didn't even break or anything. But like if they would have gotten hit without a face shell, they could have died and had like a seizure or something. So my shells have saved at least one person's life.
Wow.
So like, I wouldn't recommend getting punched in the face, but if you do get punched in the face with a face shell on, it's gonna. I mean, it's a layer of plastic. It's gonna obviously distribute the force a little bit. So, yeah, I think it would have turned out better because even if they got hit, I mean, they still could have fucked up their nose. I don't think it would have gotten broken though, because you kind of got to hit it at like a certain angle. I think it would have been better though. Speaking of that kid, I haven't said anything publicly, but in my Discord, I raised $300 for them, and so they could buy like a new suit or whatever.
Yeah.
Of course they had the money from the GoFundMe and stuff, but I wanted something more like personal, because like the cosplayers give it to them. It's more like, you know.
Yeah.
And I also said I'd make them a face shell. I haven't really heard much back about the face shell stuff yet. I don't know what's up. I mean, they raised like $5,000, so if they want to get a face shell, they can get it from anyone. But yeah, I gave the opportunity just in case they want to get one from me for free.
I love that. So, okay, so I originally thought like, okay, so if they weren't as high quality as yours are, I was thinking if the plastic breaks, it's something surrounding your face.
I don't know. I feel like even if the plastic breaks, like it will, like a tank. Tanks have ceramic plates. So like if you shoot at a tank, the ceramic plates will break and they'll like distribute the force.
Yeah. So
it's like, let's say you're holding like a sheet of like concrete or a sheet of like ceramic. If someone hits you with a baseball bat, the ceramic's just going to break and distribute the force. Yeah, it's probably still going to hurt, but at least you're not taking the full force. It's not like the plastic's going to cut you or anything.
Yeah, okay, that's a valid point.
So I think regardless of what the face shell is made out of, it would help. Now I'm not like supporting like RLSH stuff. Like I think going out and trying to fight crime is stupid. If you want to be like RLSH, go out, get, like homeless people food or something, and don't record it. Just go out. You don't even need your suit. That's cheesy. Just go out and help people. You don't have to wear your suit or anything.
I So there's somebody else I was talking to recently. I don't remember. Here, let me pull it up. What he goes by on social media, but I think it's that spandex guy. And me and him were talking, and he's working on some web shooters.
Yeah.
And just kept talking about how even just simple web shooters that could just shoot a simple concoction could be great for self-defense. So do you think that is different than RLSH?
I think that reflecting back on what I said about people wearing suits, there are some people that are popular and wear suits, and they do good things, and that's great because some people just want to hide their identity.
Yeah.
But I think like trying to stop crimes with suits is stupid. Anyway, I think web shooters are terrible self-defense devices because most of the people that make web fluid and actually know things about web fluid, I have connections with almost everyone in the community, so I know a lot of things even if I don't practice them. Most web fluids use very harmful chemicals for like their solvents and things. So like acetone, for example, is a solvent. Like if you shoot a fluid-based web shooter in anyone's face, you could make them blind potentially, which you're going to end up taking more charges than the person attacking you anyway. So we have pepper spray for a reason. If you really want web shooters as a self-defense, just put pepper spray in them. I don't recommend it. You're probably going to burn yourself as well. But there's already self-defense devices for a reason. I feel like web shooters as self-defense is kind of stupid.
Okay, I think that's a very valid point. I hadn't really thought about that before. I had one stream where I tried to make web shooters and it did not go well.
Yeah, they're pretty difficult. I think rope-based web shooters could be okay for self-defense. Like if you have like a bowler wrap or something and it shoots out like 2 balls and it wraps around them, but that's not very practical. But I think if you're just doing it on dummies and targets and stuff, it's fine. But I think actually practiced against real people shouldn't be a thing, you know?
No, you just need to make like the Assassin Spider-Man web shooters. That'll be self-defense.
Yeah, if you want bowler wraps, or I mean, if you want to run around with guns on your wrist, be my guest. But I mean, have fun in jail. I don't know.
No, see, okay, that actually gives me an idea. Maybe I'll just take apart like a pellet gun or something.
Yeah.
Build them into web shooters. Okay, so, again, I was scrolling through your TikTok, and I noticed you have various different suits on there. You have the suit you're working on. What do you refer to that as again?
My suit right now that I have, this is like my newest suit that everyone pretty much knows right now.
Yeah.
That's my sensational definitive suit. So it's just my definitive suit. That's like my main suit. I'm not gonna make another red and blue suit. Yeah. Every other red and blue suit I've had before then is like either sold or destroyed or whatever. That is my red and blue suit. That's not going to change. Sure, I might make different lenses because like I make face shells. I think it would be cool if I like in a few different posts wore different lenses just for like fun.
Yeah.
I think mix it up would be cool if I flexed a bunch of different face shells so people want to buy the files and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much my suit. I mean, I'm gonna make like maybe like a red and black suit or a symbiote suit, different things. But as far as red and blue goes, that's it for me, I think.
Okay, I like that. It's very like it's kind of your brand. I almost want to say.
Yeah.
It's the thing people know you for, like you mentioned. I actually I use that suit for your picture on here.
Yeah.
I have the stuff switched, so I'm on the side with all your information above it.
You're good.
But okay, so is there anything else you'd want to like reach out or branch out to in the future other than Spidey?
I have done other cosplays. Like I've done Chainsaw Man. That was okay. That was for a cosplay group. I've done I think just Chainsaw Man is my only other cosplay that I've done. but not really. I mean, maybe I do like a Robin eventually, but I don't really see myself as like a cosplayer in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just Spider-Man. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, I just want to be Spider-Man. I don't know. Like, I guess I'm a cosplayer, but I don't do it to cosplay. I do it just to look cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I like going to cons. It's okay, but I don't like cons per se. I just go to them to meet friends and take pictures and stuff. I prefer being at home and building things.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So me, I am a very similar way. I'm the Spider-Man centric one.
Yeah.
You can't really see it, but in my room it's mostly Spidey. Like I have this, I have the Spider-Verse comic cover and the Spider-Verse movie cover.
Yeah, I got a bunch of prints right above my computer, and then I have the Daily Bugle Lego set. I didn't finish it yet, but it's over there.
Is that the one that comes? Oh wait, no, that was the Bridge. So okay, I do have another question. So okay, I'm gonna ask this first. Have you bought a suit yet? Like from
yeah, I mean,
or something?
I've bought suits previously, but I haven't bought a suit in like 2 years or something like that. Maybe it's been 3, but yeah, I've bought suits previously before I knew how to make things, because that's how I started. I had a Civil War suit as my first suit, not like the concept Civil War, like what we saw in like the first trailers. And then I had like a custom pattern, like ultimate suit, I think. I made the pattern for that. And then I had a suit I commissioned that was custom, but they made the pattern. And that one had mechanical lenses. That was kind of cool.
That's cool.
So I had that. I made the mechanical lenses for that. So yeah, I mean, I think have had like 5 or 6 suits maybe in total. I've made a few. Some of them didn't work out, but now we're here. That's kind of all the work that I've put into things, and now I just wanted to go all out, because I feel like I haven't gone all out and shown what I'm actually capable of, so that's kind of what that suit was for.
I feel like going all out definitely put you on the map in the cosplay community.
Yeah, like at the beginning of the year I had 12K, and now I have 30, so it kind of worked out. I'm not stopping here. I'm not even trying yet.
Good.
I'm not trying. We are just getting started.
Have you thought about putting mechanical lenses into this suit?
Yes, I'm actually working on them right now. I have something that's like very, very work in progress, but let's just say it's going to be very comic based. You are going to see many different emotions. It's not just going to be squinting. That's lame. It's going to be very sick. It's very, very in the early stages right now. Like literally like 2 days ago, making things out of cardboard early stages. I was going to collab with GR Productions, if you know who that is. I love them. I think they're great. Their mechanical lenses are great. But I really just want to say I made them myself. You know what I mean? Like I even paid for their files. That's fine. That's what I was going to do originally. I think I paid like $100. But it's like, there's something satisfying about just doing it all yourself from the ground up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. Because by that point, you don't have to say, oh, I made this with this person's design. It's, I made this.
Yeah.
That's
but not the web shooters. I don't mind collabing on the web shooters, because those things are going to be insane.
Yeah, that I'm really excited to see. So for me, I'm doing a fan film. I say I'm doing a fan film. I'm trying to get enough money to start doing a fan film.
Yeah.
And the suit I designed for it, I got a pattern made and everything, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I've just like that feeling like you're talking about of making it completely from scratch. Haven't felt with this, so that's why I'm like, I've tried to make face shells.
Yeah.
Like that's what I first messaged you about originally, was seeing how much face shells are. And so like this one's McFarlane lenses that I haven't made yet.
Yeah.
And it's just that sense of kind of doing it yourself does kind of need to be there.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
Because otherwise, kind of like, why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone doesn't have the time. Everyone doesn't want to learn how to make things, and I think that's fine. If you just want to wear a suit, that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's not me. There's nothing wrong with buying suits. There's nothing, I mean, it's whatever works for you. For me, it's just that was my goal when I started. I don't like buying things. I made that suit for like, I'm not counting all the equipment I've bought in the past, all the tools I have. That I've had those, that's thousands of dollars worth of tools.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the actual raw materials for the suit is probably like $300.
That's not bad.
It's probably also 300 hours worth of work, but
But you did so much better than like. I feel like for almost the same price you could do for like a high quality print costume suit, you got so much more.
Yeah, I mean it's about the same price as a print costume suit with maybe like a face shell or something.
Yeah.
Whereas, let's say I took the same amount of money and I just smashed some stuff together and used the full extent of my skills, and that's kind of, I wouldn't say it's the fullest extent. I could definitely make something absolutely insane, but that's good enough for me because I want it to be realistic. I don't want it to be screen printed. I don't like using screen printed fabric because I want people to look at my suit and be like, if I spent a few $100, I could make that. I want it to be realistic. Screen printed fabric's unrealistic for most people.
Yeah.
That's what Spider-Man's good because he's grounded. If you look at Spider-Man's suit, I want you to look at it and be like, okay, if I took the time and a few $100, I could make that in a few weeks, or that suit probably took me a few weeks overall.
Yeah.
If I did it not.
That's honestly, it's mind blowing to me because I don't think I could do that just with like I feel like I'd procrastinate so much to the point that I just lose interest.
Well, I do, but also it's like I also have 30,000 people to tell me that it looks good when I'm posting it. So, I mean, it helps.
That's true. If I might make a suggestion for a possible project you could work into it.
Yes.
The belt light.
I have it, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Apparently I haven't looked close enough.
1 second. I have my belt here. I think the light's in here.
Thank you for everybody watching, by the way, for tuning in.
I don't know exactly where it is. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Here's the belt. You've seen that probably.
Yeah.
That's the belt. We got cartridges, tracers. I'm missing one because I put it on my friend at Comic-Con. And then I usually have like little notes as well that say like courtesy of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man right here, but I ran out because I gave them out at cons and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the latch is magnetic, so I don't have to worry about like clipping it behind me myself. And so I can take it off easier. But I do have the signal on. It's kind of.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, it matches my face shell, and like, it doesn't match the webbing on my mask because I redid the webbing on my mask. But for the most part, it's pretty much all custom. So yeah, I do have it.
That's awesome.
Do your homework. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not sure if you.
I haven't showed it off that much because like it's hard to show off something that you need to use in the dark because like you can't really take good pictures in the dark. So.
Yeah. You need to like take a picture of you with it on, with the lights on, and then have somebody else flip the switch and just stay in the same position.
More so, it would be better for like reels, but I'm not completely done with my suit yet because I want to do mechanical lenses. I want to do functional web shooters. That's why I'm just making posts right now because my next reel that I'm going to make is going to blow up because I'll have mechanical lenses, I'll have the functional web shooters, I'll have my web wings and the signal and, all the stuff.
Yeah. The way you talk about a suit is incredible because it has such craftsmanship. I realize I've asked like 3 of these questions just in one.
You're good.
Okay. This is going back a couple conversations. So I would say I would think a lot of people know you from your Etsy. I might be wrong, but how did you get into making face shells?
Well, there's a guy named Andre Blend on Instagram that was like the kingpin of the Spider-Man face shell file community. And he's really cool, and he's great. And he taught me a lot of the things that I know. But I was like, okay, I want to do this. And there's some designs that he didn't make yet, or some things with his designs that I would have changed or done differently myself. So I was like, okay, I'll just start making my files, because that's how I got into it. Was I printed his files that people paid me to do. And I was like, sometimes there'd be small issues with the files, which is normal when you make things.
Yeah.
And instead of waiting for him to fix them, it'd be better if I just learned how to fix it myself. So first I learned how to edit his files, and then I just learned how to make my own. Obviously I was bad at it at first. It took like 3 years to get to where I am now. But yeah, I mean, I learned a 3D model, and eventually you get better and remake files, and you just keep posting them. So like right now I have like 50 or 60 facial files on Etsy. And it's like, I am the competition on Etsy as far as files are. I mean, there's other people that make files, but they don't have 50 to 60 and 30,000 followers. So it's hard to beat me. I'm kind of like a monopoly, but it's...
You don't know how annoying it was, because after I asked you how much for a face shell, I went looking on Etsy, and all it came up with was your face shell designs.
Yeah, it's mostly my files on Etsy. I mean, there's other people that do it, but they don't have the reach that I do. I mean, some people are better than modeling at me, I will say that. But it doesn't matter if you don't have the reach.
Yeah. I found a lot of people that, while they were cheaper, were still lower quality. Yeah. And that even the ones that were more expensive, or even the ones that were a higher quality were more expensive. And so I just ended up figuring like yours were the best in range. I don't think I haven't bought any of yours, but...
Yeah. As far as assembled face shells, I think as far as durability and like design wise, I think mine are pretty much the best option for most people. Now there are people that make like extremely great face shells, but they may not be as durable, or maybe the magnets fall out easier, or maybe their design isn't as clean.
Yeah.
But perhaps their paint work is better. There's things like that. Like I'm not the best at painting. I'm not the best at all of it, but it matters when it levels out to durability and sizing and fit and things like that.
Yeah, and I think yours definitely feel the cleanest. Like, again, haven't had my hands on one, but from what I've seen, they look incredible, even if you don't have a mask over them.
Yeah, I definitely tried to make it look good without the mask as well.
Because if you can do something like that where you don't have to have the mask on it and it still looks good, I think that's... We were talking before about when do you call yourself a pro. I think that's when.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like paying my rent, so... Okay. That's kind of...
Sorry. That kind of brings up...
That's just kind of what I do, yeah.
I completely get that. So that kind of brings up another question I have for you. You just said, or you were saying earlier, you have 50 orders to fill.
Yep.
How, like, if you don't mind me asking, how much do you, like, about make from those kind of things? Like, just from Etsy?
How much did I make, or how much money do I have right now? Because they're very different answers.
Okay. How much did you make from selling the pre-made shells?
Well, they're not pre-made. I still have to make them. But let's say if I got all 50 orders right now, let's say on average they're 170. Some are 150, some are 200. So let's just say 170. If I sold 50 shells right now for 170 a piece, that's $8,500. That's not profit though, because I have to buy materials, I have to pay for shipping, because I do free shipping everywhere, worldwide. Sometimes worldwide shipping is like $60. So materials, shipping, time, redoing things. Paint thinner is it's not expensive, but I go through a lot of it when I redo paint jobs. When my printers break, my LCD just broke on my printer. That was $250. I just bought a new printer. That was $1K. I just redid my whole workshop because I just moved in here. That was like $3K. So it's like I spend a lot of money, so it kind of levels out. I still make profit, or I wouldn't have somewhere to live.
Yeah.
But I would say with my facials, when everything's set up already, let's say I caught up on all my commissions and I just started taking sales again right now, I would probably make like 2K a month off of shells, the assembled shells. On Etsy, that doesn't have like profit, or because, well, it does have profit. It's all straight profit because I don't have to pay anything to do Etsy. It's just digital. So it's like, I don't need materials to do that. It's just my computer. I already have my computer. Eventually I'm going to upgrade it, but it doesn't really cost me anything to do Etsy. So I prefer making files because it's just straight profit. So on Etsy, I make roughly like 1.5K a month. That's straight.
Interesting. Okay, I wouldn't have thought that. So you don't have to have a job outside of Etsy and essentially being able to put out content.
No, my Etsy does a lot better when I post new files. But remember, there's already like 60 on there, so there's pretty much something for everyone. But like soon, I'm gonna make a homecoming file. A lot of people want a homecoming file because I have Far From Home and No Way Home. They're kind of the same. But I don't have a homecoming file. Okay, I'll make a homecoming file. I'm gonna collab with a Spider-Man modder to kind of like just turn his file into a facial file and make a few edits to make it more accurate. But it's like, it makes my life easier. I can split money. He makes money. Everybody's happy.
That's cool. I don't know. I've thought about trying to do this stuff. I've thought of all the creative ways I can stay at home and do nothing and make money for my film. And so, does Etsy still take a profit from what you make?
I think they take 6%. Yeah.
So, okay, when you're making quite a bit more, that probably isn't as significant. Or, I mean, it is, but doesn't feel as significant.
I mean, so for Etsy, for most people, they hate Etsy because the fees. But for me, it's like, that's where the competition is at. So I'm on Etsy, and like I said, it's digital. Let's say most facials that are like comic based take me like 2 hours to model.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's say I have this facial that I just modeled, and let's say I post it on Etsy for $25. Well, if 10 people buy it, I already made $250 off of 2 hours of work. So it's like, it works out. Most people on Etsy are selling handmade things that they have to ship, and they have to ship on time. I have instant downloads on Etsy. My goal is to do completely Etsy and like YouTube and content creation and not make anything physical for people besides myself.
Yeah.
So, and I have Patreon now too, so that also makes money. I think I make like $250 a month off of that.
Okay. When you first said that, I immediately thought $2.50. So ignore maybe.
No, $250. Yeah.
So, okay, I do have this question because I'm very curious about it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I mentioned, I am making a fan film.
Yeah.
And I've talked to other creators about this. Would you ever consider being in a fan film?
If I'm not doing the writing, and there's an acting coach there that can tell me when I look cringe, and it's like professional, and there's like wires and stuff where I can actually do stunts.
Yeah.
I think I've had MMA training in the past. I can do stuff like that. I think if there were the proper people there and they just said, we just want you to wear your suit and we just want you to do all this stuff and you can be Peter and whatever. Yeah, I would do it. I mean, I think I have the capacity to do it as long as there's like an acting coach or something there. But as far as me doing it all myself, no, I don't want to write a story and I don't want to do it. I'll do like short clips and stuff. Maybe I'll do like fight scenes or something eventually if there's like a proper camera setup. But I don't want to do anything where it's going to be like mid quality. If I don't have the quality to do something, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to work on things that I know I can do good. You know what I mean?
It's see, for me, I have so many times thought about like, oh, what if I could get this content creator like in my film? And I've often thought, if I had that, I wouldn't want to ask them to like, oh, be the main character or anything. I'd be like, be yourself in a world where Spider-Man exists.
Yeah.
So like, just somebody in their suit pretending to be Spider-Man. I don't know.
It's very easy for me to fit into that role for myself because for me, I am Spider-Man. I mean, I'm not Spider-Man, but for me, in my eyes, I'm as close as you can get. Not to gatekeep things, like I think anyone can do it. But for me, I am him. I am the closest you can get.
Yeah.
I look like Spider-Man. I act like Spider-Man. I'm a nerd. I get good grades. I'm late to everything, not on purpose. It just happens. I don't sleep. It's not healthy. But for me,
But it's
that's
Spider-Man.
I'm Spider-Man. I don't try to do it. I've just always been like this.
That, you know what? That's perfect. I feel like if there was like a world where Spider-Man existed, I feel like he would be the kind that everybody would kind of immediately point to and then be like unsure if you were actually Spider-Man.
And I like that. I like when people are like say things like that in my comments because it means a lot. I mean, for me, that's what I am, and for other people, that's what I am too. So it means a lot when people say that. And I hate the people that gatekeep and say they are like the real Spider-Man, because if you think you're the real Spider-Man, you shouldn't have to say it. People are going to say it for you. You know what I mean? And you shouldn't have to gatekeep it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just stuff like that.
I completely agree. So I just want to point out real quick. I have comments over here on the side. Capital Cosplay. Somebody I've been following for a while. Just put that you're not cocky at all.
Yeah.
Which is, I just wanted to point out because I think that's funny.
I like to be cocky in a joking. Everyone knows I'm joking because you can just tell. But it's like, I like to be like, I'm him for real or stuff like that. But it's like, that's part of Spider-Man. He's cocky, but it's like joking. It's not, oh, I'm Spider-Man. No one else can be Spider-Man. No, you can tell I'm joking. I'm smiling the whole time. I'm just messing around.
Yeah.
But everyone knows that. It's obvious that I'm joking, you know?
Yeah. I love that so much because it's so much fun to be. It's so much fun to just be an a-hole.
Yeah, and that's what I do.
Yeah. That is what Spider-Man started out as.
I mean, he still is. He makes all the jokes, but it's like the jokes suck, but everyone knows he's like joking. He's not ever really serious with people like that. Spider-Man stops talking, you have an issue.
Yeah. Like,
so,
have you ever read the Superior Spider-Man run?
I have not had time to read most comics. The only comic that I've read through like all the way was like Ultimate Spider-Man, but that's pretty much it. I watch like Comic Story and while I'm working on things, so I've heard most stories, but most of the time I'm working at the same time. So
I understand that. So that's like kind of how the Superior Spider-Man ends. It's like he's not joking, and the Goblin knows he's Otto, and then you hear him crack a joke, and you know it's Peter.
Yeah, I
love that.
Panel. Yeah,
it's one of the most perfect things about his character is that he can change.
Yeah.
Okay, I do have kind of, I'm not really sure what I would call it kind of question. So a couple weeks back, there was something big that happened with the Spider-Man fan film community. Spider-Man Lotus came out. Did you watch it?
I watched it live.
So did I. Okay. What did you think?
I thought it was mid. I think a lot of resources were wasted. I mean, apart from the controversy, I mean, like, I know the suit makers. I think the suit's good for what they did. I think it's great. I think the VFX, it's okay for the 15-year-olds that were doing it at the time. I think there's other people that weren't 15 that were doing it, but I think VFX, solid enough for fan film. Suit, great. But as far as, like, the actual, like, layout of the movie and how it was supposed to be something so different, it was different. I'll say that. It was different. That's great. But there was a lot of flashback and a lot of dialogue. And I was so confused after the intro sequence because I was like, yeah, I know what happens. I mean, I've read things and I've TASM too. I know that Gwen dies, but it's like, I wasn't paying attention. I was like, wait, what just happened? Hang on. I was not paying attention. I was just looking at the pretty art. I didn't know that this was when Gwen was supposed to die. I was like, bro, they're spoiling the whole movie in the intro. What the hell?
Dude, I watched it live and it was kind of just like, it was when I was still kind of researching fan films, and it was like it looked amazing. I was so excited. I was hoping it would be one of those movies that, like, you know Gwen is gonna die, but by the end you kind of, I want to say, almost forget, because the movie is so good. And when I watched it, it was kind of just like, okay, like, I feel like if they took what they had and used it fully well, I think it could have been a perfect fan film.
I don't think I ever had faith in it, personally, just because everyone around the film was like so supportive in things, and that's great. But if everyone's yes men, you're gonna get something that's mid, because you need people to challenge you, and you need people, like, hate comments. I get hate comments all the time, like people telling me my belt's too high on my suit. Okay, so I made it lower. It's like, yeah, sometimes people are assholes, but sometimes the assholes are right, and that's okay. You don't have to take it to heart. Take it as advice. That's what I like to say. If people tell you something, and it's maybe not in the nicest way, it sucks. But if enough people are saying it, they're probably right, and it sucks to take that to heart. But it's like, don't take it to heart. Just change it.
Yeah.
Listen to the people. Spider-Man is the hero of the people.
I think it could have been a masterpiece.
I think if they took the intro, and the intro was the movie, the title card, if that was the movie, I thought it would have been amazing. But the movie was people walking around in the city and crying in cars.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good scene. The crying in cars was... MJ did good.
Yeah.
I mean, the actors were solid, but it's just the direction wasn't great.
I've been looking at stuff, and I'm like, I see people like shitting on MJ and Harry, their, like, the acting performance, and I think
they did fine as far as what they were given.
Exactly. And honestly, I sort of feel like the script was only so long, and they were just trying to fill the time slot.
I feel like if the movie was 45 minutes, it would be a solid 6 out of 10, which would be good enough for me.
I completely agree.
I feel like they just wanted to hit the blockbuster and then have 2 premieres, which I'm sure that's cheap. Imagine if you put that budget towards the movie. Yeah, just things like that.
Okay. I think we're almost out of time, so I just have one last question for you.
Yeah, you're good.
So Spidey cosplaying takes up a lot of life. How did that first affect you, like when you first started getting into it?
Well, it wasn't really a problem until I was doing it full time. Trying to manage calculus and chemistry and content and business at the same time isn't good. And I still don't completely know what I'm doing. I have a whiteboard and a bulletin board and 2 planners and things like that. It helps. My main help was getting diagnosed with ADHD. I'm sure for most people, keeping things organized wouldn't be an issue. For me, it is an issue still, even when I am on my meds. Like, I'm not today because I woke up at like 4 p.m. and I'd never sleep. But yeah, I think finding the balance of the medication that works and also knowing when to take my meds is how I manage to do it all.
Yeah.
Because, like, if I take my meds and work on the wrong things, I'll be stuck on them all day. Like, if I work on my suit for myself, it's like, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'll be hyper-focused on it all day. I can't do that. So some days I have to be like, look, I have to suffer and not take my meds, but it'll be better because I'll get more stuff done. So it's like a double-edged sword. So that's kind of how I manage.
I respect that. It's, so for me, I am still in high school. When I first started getting into it, I just started focusing on it. And my grades tanked. So now I'm kind of like trying to find that middle ground between wanting to do everything for my film, because I'm writing it, directing it, acting in it, making all the suits and stuff. So doing all that and doing my AP European history.
The best advice I have for most people, because not everybody has ADHD. I know TikTok likes to make people think that everyone has ADHD and it's the most fun thing in the world to have. No, it sucks ass. You're in a prison of your own brain. But for most people, even people with, that are neurodivergent or whatever.
Yeah.
One thing at a time. One thing at a time. Or if you need to do your homework, put that personal shit aside. I like to say work first. Even if you suffer for 5 days doing work, that's fine. Suffer for 5 days. Once the work's over, you have all the free time to work on what you want.
Yeah.
So I told myself I'm not doing any, like, I'm not working on things for myself until I finish these face shells. Besides content, I have to make a few posts. So
Yeah.
I'll tank, but you know, mostly for the most part, just get the things that are gonna benefit you most out of the way first. So like homework, school, things like that. It sucks, but you got to do it. And then one project at a time, one personal project at a time. Mine was my suit. I had to do that. Do things that force you to get your things done. My suit, I went to Dragon Con. Did I really want to go to Dragon Con? Not really. It was expensive and it was 3 hours away.
Yeah.
But I got to meet my friends and it made me finish my suit for the most part. So it was worth it. So make yourself do things. That's kind of what it is. Do the boring stuff first. It sucks, but that's how you have to do it. And maybe that works for you. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But that's how I do things.
That's
like I cut out YouTube. For the past few days, I've been mind drenched in YouTube and Instagram Reels. But now I stop myself. Starting like yesterday, I started stopping myself, and I feel so much better. Multivitamins. Oh my gosh. I live off of chicken nuggets. Those help so much mentally.
I'm
Usually when I'm not on my meds, I feel like I want to die. But I've been trying to sleep, I've been trying to eat multivitamins, and I'm trying to cut out the things that are frying my dopamine receptors. So I feel great now. And it's only been like 2 days, but we'll see. We'll see how I go in a few days.
That's where I've been. I've been like getting a sleep schedule, drinking water consistently. I don't know.
Water is very helpful, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Water changes everything. If your lips are chapped constantly like mine, you know you're not drinking enough water.
Yeah, I completely. All right. I think that's all the time we have for today's stream. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm gonna switch to end screen now.
Yeah, you're good.